Before diving deep into the episode, I just want to say a massive thank you to you guys. So, we're all about building a space about wellness and personal growth. So we really want to bring the best conversation on Wellsome podcast. And in order to do that, I really ask you to support our journey, hit the thumbs up. Just share the episode if you really think that it can resonate with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to keep up with us. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wellsome, a podcast where wellness meets self development. I am Vicky, and in each episode, I'm going to dive deep into real conversations about health and personal growth. So, in today's episode, I really wanted to invite Khushbu, which is a manifestation coach. Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for our conversation.
Me too. And the reason why I really want her to be on board and to talk to us about manifestation is because, first of all, I'm sure you agree with me that it's a topic that everyone is interested in, especially nowadays. And second, because I hear a lot of buzz around the word manifestation, how to manifest. As you know, you can find so many information around, but I really wanted to confront and have a conversation with someone like Khushbu, who's really, like, first of all, she's a coach, and second, she's doing his as a profession. So I'm here to talk about this beautiful topic, which is manifestation, with her. And of course, if you guys in the future have more questions, you can always reach out to her. We will put the Instagram down below in the YouTube. So Khushbu, welcome to the podcast.
Vicky, thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm so excited to see where this conversation goes.
Me too. So first of all, I always start the podcast by asking my guest, how did you start this beautiful journey? And by the way, I called you manifestation coach. Is it correct, or would you call yourself differently?
That's perfect. Manifestation
Okay.
coach is perfect.
So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to hear your story.
Yes. So my story begins in 2004. I grew up obese. Up until 2004, I was morbidly obese, tipped the scales at 90 kilos. And that's when I started my fat loss journey. And over a course about 2.5 years, I went on to lose 35 kilos.
Oh wow.
And I was looking better, feeling better. And I remember at one point, this is before my weight loss journey, thinking that, okay, once I lose the weight, I'm going to be really happy and really confident. And I lost the weight. I was wearing nicer clothes, but I still felt an internal void. Yeah. I still felt like something was missing. I didn't feel good enough, always questioning myself. And then fast forward a few years later, I remember sitting on a plane. I was on a flight back from London to Bombay. I was living in Bombay at the time. And I just felt this internal void, like something was missing. On paper, I had everything. I had great relationships, surrounded by amazing loved ones. My business was booming, traveling the world regularly. I was looking the best I've ever looked. Yet, I just didn't feel that sense of joy.
You had an inner voice, maybe.
Exactly. And I remember thinking to myself that we're not meant to be living life feeling meh. This feeling of mediocrity is not what life is about. And I wasn't overly religious at the time, but I remember saying out loud, universe, God, someone throw me a bone. And
Wow.
a few days later on Instagram, I came across a Instagram post on synchronicities, which led me to a YouTube video, which led me to a podcast episode all about manifestation. And initially, I was drawn in, but I was also a bit skeptical because it just sounded too good to be true, this idea of being able to change your life to such a degree. So I started trying it out with small things, such as thinking of a friend. She would call me, wanting to manifest a free cup of coffee. The coffee would come. Then I started to develop that trust and confidence in myself in the process. And that's when I started using it to manifest bigger things. And over the course of a few months, my entire life just started to look and feel so different. So for example, I struggled with my period because of polycystic ovaries for 4.5 years. My period was absent, and I went to every gynac in India, weren't able to give me the right medication. And using the process of manifestation, I was able to restore my period, and it's been regular since.
Stop.
That's one example. Being able to scale my business, 3x, traveling in the midst of the pandemic, despite all the border restrictions, and moving to Dubai overnight. I could go on, but truly what we're about to discuss and, really diving into manifestation, it is life-changing once you understand how to apply it.
Especially the part when you said that by rewinding your mind, you will be because the body is such an intelligent machine, especially when it comes to healing.
Yes.
And the fact that you said that you were able to get your period back, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I see so many women outsourcing their power to their hormones.
Yeah.
And using that as a reason to not live the life they want, whether it's to get pregnant or to feel good in your body on a day-to-day basis. But we don't realize how much immense power we hold around our bodies, let alone our whole lives, just by using our mind in a way that serves us versus reacting to what is in front of us.
Wow. And what did you do at the beginning? You did like practices and
so initially, like most people, I started with the manifesting techniques such as visualizing, affirmations, making a vision board. And while it worked to some degree, I realized that after a point, you have to really go inwards and do the inner work and identify what are the stories I'm telling myself? Where's my focus going? Because it's very easy to spend the first few minutes in the day and the last few minutes in the evening, writing down a beautiful gratitude list, looking at your vision board, repeating your affirmation from the mirror. But the rest of the day, who are you being? The rest of the day, how are you interacting with reality?
So true.
And that really is the game changer in terms of what comes next.
Yeah. We're going to touch base this after. But first of all, I like for people who are not really familiar with the word manifestation or they didn't really get it yet. So, Khushbu, what is manifestation?
You hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that manifestation has become overly popular.
Yeah.
And because there's so much information online, people overcomplicate manifestation and forget that we've been doing it our whole lives. So what manifestation really is, it is the phenomena that takes place when you bring something that was once part of your imagination and materialize it into your 3D physical reality, into something you can access with all 5 senses.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've been manifesting since the day we were born, but with a bit of intention, now you can start to bring into reality what you actually want to experience versus reliving old patterns.
Wow. And can you please guide us through the process of manifestation?
Yeah.
Because people, sometimes they complain and they think, oh, it like manifestation works for her, but it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So what are they missing in the process?
Okay, so a couple of things. Anyone who's worked with me or listened to my podcast knows that I'm all about simplicity when it comes to
and that's
manifestation.
Amazing, yeah.
Because I can give you 8 million steps or I can give you 3-4 steps and both are going to leave the outcome you want. For me, I rather simplify it. So really manifestation is about firstly getting clear on what you want, deciding what you want. And so often people say manifestation doesn't work, but it's because they don't even know what they want. So it's very easy for me to tell you, hey, Vicky, I want to manifest more money. But my idea of more money versus your idea of more money is very different. Similarly, I can say I want to manifest a relationship versus you could tell me the same, but our idea of what our ideal relationship is very different. So first and foremost, you got to get crystal clear on what you want. Then the next question is not how do I get this desire, which is what we'll talk about, which is where most people slip up on, but is who do I need to be in order for my desire to come into reality? Because you have to remember, this is the crux of manifestation, is that your external reality is just reflecting back to you who you are. Manifestation is nothing more than a game of identity. And until you change your identity, who you are being, that's the only way you can bring about the shift in your external reality. So it's firstly getting clear on what you want. Secondly is who's the version of me who already has it? How does she move through her life? What are the thoughts she's thinking? How is she reacting to the world around her? What kind of relationships does she have? What kind of habits does she engage in on a daily basis? And then the third step, is to go all in and be that version of you. So often people are waiting for permission or for proof before they start to be that new version of yourself. And you don't wait for proof while manifesting. You create the proof because the 3D reality, again, will only ever give you more of who you are. And the last step is surrendering and letting go of the how. So often people mistake the word surrendering with giving up. No, it's being humble enough to realize that you will never know how it's going to unfold, but knowing that manifestation is a co-creative process and you are working with a power greater than you. So you decide what you want and then you align with it. The how and the when, something bigger and more divine will take
I
care of
love
that.
the fact that you point out that it's a matter of identity. I've never heard this before in all the contents that I watch about manifestation.
Yeah, this has been what's really been the game changer for me is
Yeah.
understanding that you can do all the manifesting techniques, you can write out beautiful lists, but if you're not changing yourself on an identity level,
Yeah.
reality cannot materialize in a different manner.
Yeah. For example, I give you an example, and maybe then we can
Yeah,
talk to
yeah, for sure.
our followers and then
Definitely.
give, for example, I am sure 100% that people would like to ask you, "But what should I do to attract the love of my life or love in
Yeah.
my life?" But I just want to give a little bit of my experience.
Yeah.
So I've been on dating apps since 1 year. And to be honest, I was not very happy about it.
Yeah.
And I was sure that, for example, I really want a person who travel a lot and very dynamic. And of course, I chose a specific app where you see people from all over the world.
Correct.
But the truth is that I was the one sure that I know I wanted to live in Dubai, despite the fact that I wanted to travel
Yeah.
a lot. So I was attracting people that were traveling a lot, but didn't have a base. So at some point, I was just like, okay, I'm attracting people from all over the world who were not based in Dubai, so I cannot really date them.
Yeah.
Because I have this mindset that I want people from all over the world, like a traveler. But then on the other side, the truth is that I really want someone who's based in Dubai,
yeah.
and then eventually we can travel the world together. And then on the other side, because I was so focused on the app,
Yeah.
I forgot about, I don't know, meeting someone organically, like outside.
Yeah.
So what I did is like, okay, Vicky, do you really want to find someone based in Dubai and not looking for external,
Yeah.
inputs? Just close the app, and I'm sure you're gonna find a guy who's well traveled. Guess what? The moment I stopped the app and I was so
Yeah.
clear about what I wanted in truth, like with myself.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that I want the travel, but I also want to be based somewhere like a little bit of stability. Boom.
Yeah. And did you meet
A
someone
lot
then?
of, not yet, but
Okay, yeah.
I'm getting a lot of like I'm doing a lot of like I meet a lot of people that are based in Dubai, but they travel a lot.
Are you open to feedback?
Yeah.
Okay, and this could be really helpful for anyone who
Please,
might be
yes.
on a similar trajectory. Is you decided you want to meet someone who's well traveled, but you brought your logic into the equation by saying,
Yes.
okay, well, in order for me to meet someone of this caliber, I need to go on a dating app whereby travelers from all
Yeah.
coming into, I have more reach. And what you don't realize is that there are infinite ways your desire can come to you.
Yeah.
But the minute you bring logic, and we almost pride ourselves as saying, I'm a logical person. I know
Yeah.
that was my story for a very long time. But what is your logic? It is an accumulation of your past experiences, your past conditioning. And so if you are trying to use your logic to decide how your desire is going to manifest, you are essentially using your past as a roadmap to your future. And if you think about it, really just think about it, what sense does that make if you want to manifest a new outcome? How on earth could your past tell you
Yeah.
how to get to a new future? Right?
Makes
So you
totally
have
sense.
to drop the logic when it comes to manifestation. But instead it's saying, okay, what do I want? I want to, like you said, I want to manifest love, a man who's well traveled, which is incredible. But then I have to now commit to being love. I need to now start saying, okay, not how will I meet this person, but what are the things I look forward to doing with this person? So,
Yeah.
for example, I would say, like, what if you imagine that you're going to travel to the Maldives with this partner, I would say some days just have fun with it and go and like say, where would we stay?
Yeah.
What would our itinerary be when we're, together? How would I need to restructure my work schedule to allow me to travel more with this person? But the key here is the certainty and conviction that it's happening.
Yeah.
Not I need him to come in before I really believe it, but I have to first believe it, have that certainty that it is done already the minute I decide. And now the materialization, how it takes place, it's not my job to figure out.
So basically, you have to prepare the vessel first
Prepare
to
the
just
vessel.
receive what you're asking for. It's like a magnet.
And ask yourself also, and this is a huge step that most people try to skim over, is paying attention to your stories internally and your programming. So why do you, because again, we all want these big desires, which if you can conceive of a desire, it's meant for you to receive it. But there's also usually a follow-up with a but.
Yeah.
As to all the reasons why you don't think it's possible. So, in your case, it's like, I want to meet someone, but I don't know where I'm going to meet him. Or
Yeah.
I want to meet someone, but my previous relationships, whatever your story is, right? And that's what your job now is in this period, is getting clear. What are the stories I'm telling myself which negate
Very
the outcome?
important.
And I have to now install, the same way you have to update your software for your computer every now and then, or your phone, you got to update the software and install new programming. So the version of me who's in that relationship right now, she would be like, oh, manifesting relationships is the easiest thing on the planet for me.
Yeah.
Men are like,
Yeah.
at my feet, left, right, and center. And
Yeah.
that's as you walk around your day, these are the thoughts that need to be going through your mind. Not, I wonder where he's going to come from. How am I going to meet someone? I'm still
Yeah.
single. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And actually, this leads us to the next question, which
Yes.
is, I am sure that the subconscious mind, as always, in many things, in many part of our story
Yeah.
and our physical also state, mental state, runs the show. So I assume that if I really want to manifest something, but that my subconscious kind of like sabotage me,
Yeah.
might not happen. Is it correct?
Yeah. So 90% of our lives is governed by our subconscious mind. And
Yeah.
so if there's a conflict between our conscious desire and our subconscious programming, the subconscious will always win. So for example, as much as someone could say, I want to manifest love, but deep down, if they believe that all men cheat, that's why they will not manifest that love.
Yeah.
Similarly, as I can sit here and tell you, hey, Vicky, I really want to manifest more money. But if the rest of the day I'm like, oh, I hate paying taxes, or,
Yeah.
money's the reason why families fight, that is why money will feel like a struggle for me. And so really it's asking yourself, what are the stories I hold around this desire?
Yeah.
And is it actually in alignment with what I want? And a really easy way for you to know what's in your subconscious mind and essentially what your subconscious has accepted as true, look at your life. Your
Yeah.
entire life is evidence of what is in your subconscious mind.
True.
And
True.
that's something which should give you so much freedom, because if you don't like something in your reality, people get so stuck on it. But just use it as a source of clarity. That, okay, maybe for you, I don't like I'm just giving you an example,
Of
right?
course.
It's like, okay, I don't like the fact that I keep attracting toxic men. That's just telling you in your subconscious, there's a story there about men being toxic.
Yeah.
But just look at it as feedback and be like, okay, well, then what is the polar opposite? I attract really loving men. And now I need to be disciplined enough through the process of repetition to install that new belief into me. Because what is a belief? It's just a thought you thought over and
Yeah.
over again.
But for example, I'm thinking, especially, I'm trying to imagine if, for example, like a potential listener, like wants to know how to recognize what are the misbeliefs
Yeah.
that are like dragging us down, and maybe just rewire the subconscious in a way that, no, if I really believe that I want more money, I have to be aligned subconsciously as well.
Yeah.
Like, for example, would you recommend maybe to write down and maybe what really stops you, and maybe just throw a line and then
Yeah, like
what is
a
the
technique.
process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I usually, with my clients, I give them a 3-step technique. Is number one is what comes after the but. So when you have a desire, what is one of the, and again, you don't have to figure out all your limiting beliefs. You can just start with 2.
Yeah.
And as you continue your journey, you're going to keep recognizing other beliefs which you didn't even realize were existing within you. So just start with 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so number one is what comes after the but. So what are the reasons why I tell myself my desire cannot happen for me? Secondly is, what is evidence that negates it? So when in my past have I experienced a situation whereby this wasn't true? And if I don't have evidence from my own life, when have I seen someone else experience the polar opposite? Because if this was the absolute truth, then it would be applying to everyone.
True.
So if it's just my experience, then it's not the truth. It's just one that I've chosen for
Yeah.
myself. And the third step is, what do I actually want to be true? What is the new story that I want to see materialize in my reality? Because it always starts with the story, then the materialization.
Yeah.
And then I need to be disciplined enough to water that seed on a daily basis. And so, your subconscious mind is most impressionable at the start of the day and at the end of the day. So whether it's for a few minutes,
Interesting.
that's when, because the rest of the day, your conscious mind is awake. And
Yeah.
so it's going to almost push away those new stories. Is just take a few minutes when you get out of bed or right before you sleep, and just for 3-4 minutes, just let that story repeat on a loop
Yeah.
and let it sink in, and don't worry so much about how. Just all you have to focus on being disciplined enough to reprogram your subconscious mind through the process of repetition.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And for example, if our listeners they want to attract, for example, more love, because I know you guys what they want you want to ask. So
We
I'm
all
asking
do.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, what are the processes? What are the steps?
So I'm assuming you mean romantic love?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the first step, again, going back to get clear on the kind of person you want to be with. But I would say don't focus so much on what he looks like and the.
Physically, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you can have one or two things, but make it more about how do you want to feel in this relationship.
I love this part. I love
Yeah.
I love that you said this.
Yeah, because again, when we're trying to control what this person looks like, we're also trying to control the how without realizing it. Whereas I can tell you one thing, and I've worked with a lot of clients that looks fade. I work with some clients who have what they deem as the hottest husband, but pretty miserable marriages. But it's because you got to focus on how you want to feel beyond the looks aspect.
Yeah.
So again, I would say rather than say I want a guy who is 6 foot, blue eyes, no, I want a guy who I'm really physically and emotionally attracted to.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Can you see?
Huge difference.
Yeah. Okay. So once you get clear on how you want to feel in that relationship, so what your idea of a dream relationship looks like, then it's again the second step is who do I need to be in order to receive that relationship? So that version of me who's in that relationship, how would she see men? And how would this is a huge one, is how would she see herself and how would she see life overall? So especially when it comes to relationships,
Yeah.
a huge step that most people skim over is their self-concept.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with your self-concept?
Kind of, but I really want you to.
Yeah, so this
put it
ties in
up
with what I said to you about the identity piece. Is your self-concept essentially how you perceive yourself and how you treat yourself. And every single relationship in your life is a mirror reflection of the relationship you're having with yourself. And rather than externalize love, externalize validation, it's asking yourself, how do I want a man to treat me? And now I'm going to go all in and treat myself like that.
Kind of like, how do I want to be perceived?
So again, if I want, whether it's you or whether it's a man or a client, anybody, if I want people to see me as, wow, Khushbu is amazing, I need to now create a self-concept that I am amazing.
Yeah.
But so often people are so starved for permission, validation, thinking that I can't think that about myself. No, but who am I to be thinking such egotistical comments about myself? But if you don't see yourself in the highest light, nobody's going to, because the world can only see you the way you see yourself. So you really have to put yourself on the pedestal.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
you'll see the minute you put yourself up there, people will start to see you in a brand new light.
Amazing. And not be scared to also put boundaries and to just be vocal about them. I
But
guess.
again, how would a woman, like, again, I'm sure every woman at the end of the day, say what you want a man who values you and respects you.
And you feel seen.
Who you feel seen with. But how much do you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
You say you want a man who values you, but are you drawing boundaries and valuing your own peace and energy right now? Or are you scared, what will people think?
Yeah.
And this, we don't realize how much this period of being single, it's actually such a blessing because you've been given the gift to create the foundation that's going to show up in your relationship when it manifests, not if it manifests, when it manifests. So really ask yourself, am I using this period of being single to complain, to compare, to feel inadequate, to, play the victim? Or am I using it to really build myself and become the most formidable version of myself with the knowingness that life is a reflection of me? And if I become the most extraordinary version of myself, I'm going to undoubtedly manifest an extraordinary man.
I love it.
It's really always a choice.
Yeah. And it always starts from you.
It's you.
Yeah.
You can only ever experience reality as you experience yourself. And that's why when you're looking for love outside of you, it's because it's absent within you. And rather than make it external focus, well, use as a opportunity to create that love within yourself so that reality can mirror back to you more love.
I'm very happy that we were talking about this because of course we this has applied on men as well.
Yeah.
But we have so many women that sometimes they just diminish themselves and they think that maybe they deserve like a specific bad treatment or they cannot ask for more.
Yeah.
But it's not true. No. Yeah.
It's so funny. So right now I'm single as well, and for some time I used to question, like, why is it taking so long? Why haven't I met someone? But now the story in my mind is flipped to gratitude, and it's coming from a place of I'm so grateful I've been given this gift to really just work through whatever
Get
my
to know
stories,
yourself.
get to know myself, get so comfortable in myself,
Yeah.
and also, build that foundation, which I know that's going to make that next transition so much easier.
I love it.
Versus, because trust me, like the person who I was 10 years ago versus who I am today is very different. And I would have been entering that relationship 10 years ago from a very powerless standpoint, hoping someone could love me, hoping that someone would value me. Whereas now I'm like, I give that to myself on a daily basis, that any man that comes to my life is going to be an enhancer,
Of course.
not the source of my love, but a reflection of the love that I've cultivated within myself.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about think positively, be positive when it comes to manifestation. And I think it's aligned with the concept of gratitude.
Yeah.
But do you think, what is the difference between think positive and alignment?
Yeah, like vibrational alignment.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Okay, but this is a really great question. So thinking positively is the first step towards getting into vibrational alignment, because your mind is the starting point of all creation.
Yeah.
Your mind is the cause and realm of creation. And when it comes to getting into vibrational alignment, this goes one step further, whereby on a visceral level, you are fully being that version of you, irrespective of what your 3D reality looks like. So you're moving like the person who has her desire. You're feeling safe, you're calm,
Yeah.
you're at ease, you're present, and you are essentially living with the knowingness that your desire is already yours.
Yeah.
And it's such a minor shift, because in order to get into vibrational alignment, you need to start thinking as that version of you. But really, it's once you start thinking positively, and this is where a lot of people also kind of go wrong when it comes to manifestation, is they are positive, but there's still so much fear.
Yeah.
There's still so much insecurity. There's still so much questioning. There's still so much doubt. And in their bodies, they don't feel that sense of ease. And so without realizing, they're actually creating a disconnect between their mind, which is thinking positively, and their bodies, which is from a place of survival. And
Yeah.
that disconnect, because reality is a mirror reflection of you, that disconnect, that internal misalignment mirrors back in the form of obstacles, chaos, delays, and unwanted
Is there
circumstances.
such thing as opposite manifestation?
What do you mean?
For example, it's so funny. So basically, one of my best friend,
Yeah.
one time she was like, "I think you are the perfect example of opposite manifestation." And I'm like, "What do you
What
mean?"
does that mean? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she goes, "Yeah, I know that you want to attract love, but kind of like you're pushing away everyone who wants to, I don't know, enter in your life, or they just all of a sudden disappear. But are you sure you really think that you deserve this love?" So
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is a question I have to ask
Yeah.
when
Okay.
Khushbu is coming to the podcast.
Okay, so more than opposite manifestations, it's more a case of manifesting circumstances and outcomes which you don't want to experience. And the most fundamental thing you need to do in these moments is take accountability and recognize that life is unfolding through you. There's no external force that's saying, "Oh, well, let's, send Vicky
The
a test."
opposite, yeah.
No, it's just saying that, okay, on some level, whether it was conscious or unconscious, I have created this into reality, and I can either react to it and therefore create more of the same, or I can take a step back, like I said, take accountability. Because on some level, maybe there's a part of me that doesn't feel like she deserves it.
Yeah.
Or maybe on some level, I'm fearing that it won't happen for me.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, your story is, and just ask yourself, well, if I was experiencing the polar opposite, what would be the narrative within? And
Yeah.
now I just have to commit, not try to question why, but just focus on being
Yeah.
that new version of yourself, with the knowingness that reality must rearrange
Yeah.
according to you. And something to keep in mind is, like I said, manifestation is a game of identity. So when you're making this identity shift, right? So let's say someone has always believed that men are toxic, and now they're starting to believe that men are loving. When they start to make this shift in their narrative, they're going to experience something externally that comes from their old self. And this is a way our old identity, our egos tries to lure us back to old patterns.
I see.
And how you respond to it is very telling whether you are your new self or your old self. Because your new self would laugh it off, she would not get emotionally affected, and she would be able to discard it. She would be detached. Whereas if you were still being your old self, you'd get triggered, you'd get thrown off,
Or
and
hooked.
you get hooked, and you'd react in your old way. And so that's what happens. Sometimes you actually think you might, your friend, like you said, might feel like you're having an opposite manifestation, but no, you're just actually given an opportunity to really embody this new version of yourself.
Ah, now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
And it's actually a gift.
And do you, because everyone who's talking about manifestation talks about tests as well.
Yeah.
For example, the universe, before giving you the manifestation, before rewarding you with what you want, the universe is, or God, or whoever you believe in,
Yeah.
it's testing you. Do you believe in this or no?
So I believe that we have a very generous and loving universe, or God, whatever you want to call it. And I also believe that we are reflections of this loving power.
Yeah.
So rather than say it's testing us, I like to see it as it's training us for us to really expand our vessel to receive the very thing that we want. And it's the same way is as much as a mom can love her 5-year-old son, she's not going to necessarily give him an iPhone right now because she knows he would break it.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean she doesn't want to. But if that child shows maturity, he shows responsibility, like he can handle a phone, then she might be a little more willing to give that phone. And that's the same, is that higher power loves you so much, but it also wants to make sure you receive it when you are ready to receive it versus self-sabotage it because of your old patterns getting in the way.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. And for example, like I assume that if you really want to manifest something, it's daily practice. But then how can this daily practice can coexist with the concept of letting go and just detach?
Yeah. So you're right. It's a daily practice and it's all about consistency. So it's not about just thinking one time and then expecting a desire to manifest.
Yeah.
But it's firstly understanding how manifestation works and understanding your entire reality is an outward projection of your internal state. And the minute you can really ground yourself in that knowing, it's so much easier to detach from the external world. So that's people think that detachment means I don't want my desire anymore. No, detachment means I'm letting go of the grip that 3D reality has on me and my mood and my state overall. That's that's what detachment really is. And then secondly, I wouldn't suggest that you spend your whole day just thinking about your desire, but it's about allowing yourself to be present and saying when that desire comes to mind, then I'm going to think in its favor versus contradict it. Because think about it, really, if you had your desire right now, you wouldn't be thinking about it all the time. But when it came to mind, you'd be like, oh, I'm so grateful, it's fine.
Yes.
I'm so happy. But how would you spend the rest of your day? You'd be present.
Yeah.
You'd be in the conversation with the person in front of you versus thinking, oh, I really hope he messages me. Oh, I really hope that money comes in today. I should go refresh my inbox. But those are the behaviors where you have to ask yourself, which version of me is doing this behavior? Because people think that overly focusing desire is helpful, but if it's coming from a version of you who's desperate, who's anxious, who's worried, that identity will manifest in the form of more reasons to be desperate, more reasons to feel anxious. Oof. But if it's coming from a version of you who's like, man, I'm just so excited to experience, I can't stop thinking about it because it's so fun. That's coming from a version of you who's really certain, who's excited, and that's what's going to mirror back to you in your reality.
And this also reflects, now that I'm thinking, in money mindset as well.
I guess. Everything, money mindset, money manifestation, and relationships are the two biggest areas I work with my clients on. And it's funny because they seem completely separate, but they're very linked.
They're very intertwined.
Because it comes down to your self-worth and your beliefs around this certain desire, but also your level of safety to receive this very desire.
Wow. Yeah. Because I've been working right now with a coach because this is actually like a message that I want to convey with my audience. So even coaches have coaches.
Oh yeah. I have 2 coaches right now.
Yeah, exactly. Even coaches have coaches. And me as a coach, I have 2 coaches actually.
Yeah.
And we're always working on, money mindset and business and everything, because I really want to get ready for what it's coming next.
100%.
And basically, even when it comes to money, we were just like working on the ability to just receive and just allow to receive.
Yeah.
Which is very, very intertwined with manifestation, because you allow the universe to
1,000%
to deliver.
100%. And I think this is one of the biggest gifts any entrepreneur can give themselves is working on the money mindset.
Yeah.
Because you can do all the strategy, you can take all the action, but if you still have these limiting narratives around money, or that to make money, you got to struggle, you will shortchange yourself in terms of what you're able to receive.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, my business took off the minute I started working on my money mindset.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think it's wonderful that your coach is having
And
you do that.
you know, Khushbu, I wanna share something with you as
Yeah,
well, and
please.
with the audience. So now I'm a health coach, and I have this beautiful podcast, and then there's another project coming, and I know for sure that all these three areas will work and will do very well. And guess what? The podcast is doing very well, mashallah, and the coaching is doing very well. But then a few years ago, I was co-founding a startup with my business partner.
Yeah.
And the project was very ambitious, everything was good, but I swear, in the back of my mind, I thought, I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of question marks in my head. I don't think it's the right market. I don't think this is the right moment to launch this. And guess what? A lot of struggles.
Yeah.
A lot of struggles. And I'm sure that if only I would have had another mindset,
Yeah.
we would have been more aligned, because guess what? My business partner thought exactly the same
Yeah.
in the back of her mind. And now, okay, I sold my shares. We were still doing okay, but we were having a lot of issues. And I'm very happy that I sold my shares and I focus on myself, but still I can see in herself that she has a lot of limiting beliefs. And guess what? She still struggles. So
Is she still running the business right now? Yeah.
Yes, still. But I think not with the same speed as if she would have had another mindset.
Yeah. Well, this goes back to this crux of it all. Manifestation is a game
Yeah.
of identity. So no matter what business you launch, no matter who you launch it with, but if you're still in the identity of someone who doubts,
Yeah,
someone who worries, someone who doesn't think it's going to work out, reality can only show you that.
absolutely.
It's
absolutely.
all about the programming that's installed within.
Absolutely. And then leads me to the next question.
Yeah.
What do you think people are missing out when it comes to manifestation? And what are the biggest misconceptions that you see in your clients, in
Yeah.
people about manifestation?
Yeah, this is, a really useful question. Is number one, the lack of consistency. So people start off manifesting really motivated for a couple of days, and
Yeah.
then excuses kick in. They get impatient, and then they throw in the towel, go back the old way. So firstly is being consistent no matter what your 3D reality shows you. Secondly, as we discussed earlier, the over intellectualizing the process and letting your logic get in the way. You have to give up the how and know
Yeah.
you'll never know, but show up and keep your side of the street clean by being the version of you, irrespective of what's happening around you. Number three, it's overly valuing your desire and putting on a pedestal. So,
Also,
yeah.
okay.
So that mindset, I'll be happy when. And
Very common.
And it is, especially if, I hate to stereotype, especially for women, thinking that a certain desire is going to enhance your life. And what happens is
And
when,
this is what happened to you as well, as you said at the beginning, no? That you said, when I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to be
yeah,
happy.
exactly. And
Yeah.
what happens is when you put anything on a pedestal, you make that thing bigger than you, but you also create a gap. And so if reality can only give you more of who you are, if you put this desire up here, it will always be separate from you.
I see.
So you have to remove the importance. Another common mistake I see people making is overconsumption of manifestation content without applying it. I was one of those people for a very
Yeah.
long time. And what ends up happening is you have a lot of knowledge, you know how the process works, but you're not actually applying it to the degree that's required for your life to change.
Yeah. Again, logic, maybe. Logically,
But it gives us that false sense of that false sense of dopamine whereby we feel like we're being productive
Yeah.
by learning more, which is I'm all for learning.
Yeah.
But after a point, it's you have to come into your body and actually apply what you know. And another big one, which I was also guilty of, so I could speak to it, is being overly self-aware. So many people know why they are the way they are, and they can pinpoint, okay, I have this belief around money because my parents did this, or I don't trust men because my ex cheated on me, or my brother or sister did this. So always
Yeah.
being able to identify where this pattern stem from, but they get stuck in self-awareness versus transformation.
That's a big one, actually.
So you can know why you are the way you are and applaud yourself, because that is the first step towards changing. But what comes next? You repeating the story of the past, or now committing to your future and changing?
So I guess there is a lot of acceptance, maybe you need to accept
Yeah.
where you are and then willing to change, maybe?
100%.
Okay.
It's accepting, okay, I am this way for whatever reason. I can either go down a rabbit hole, but I can also now cut the cord with the past and decide
Yeah.
that's no longer me, with the knowing this. And this is a huge crux of manifestation, is every moment is brand new. And all that matters is the present moment.
Yeah.
Even the conversation we had 5 seconds ago doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But if I remember it, I bring it into the present moment. Similarly, your childhood doesn't exist anymore. But if you go back and remember those bad memories, you bring it into the present moment.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to ask. If every moment is brand new, if every moment is a clean slate, what do I want to bring to the present moment? But more importantly is, what do I want to experience? Because that's what is determined by the present moment.
Very interesting concept, yeah. And it's so crazy that is always coming up, doesn't matter in what podcast, the fact that first we need to recognize maybe a specific pattern or a specific thing that hold us back. And then before transforming, we need to accept. Because sometimes we're fighting within each other and this is not transformation. This is us being stuck in the past.
You're at war with yourself.
Yeah.
And that resistance gets mirrored back to you, more resistance externally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this also is connected to the fact that it's so important to be aware of what we think subconsciously. Yeah.
It's, it's exactly that. It's just being aware and asking yourself, is this leading me to my destination?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, I have full sovereignty to choose something else to be aware of.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Khushbu, what are normally, imagine I'm a client of yours, which I have the feeling I'm going to be.
You're welcome anytime.
I love this.
You're welcome anytime.
So, what are normally the steps that you guide your clients through in order for them to manifest what they want?
So one of my gifts as a coach is, within 10 minutes of speaking to someone, I can identify their blind spots in terms of what's keeping them stuck, what's actually stopping them from manifesting desires. So once we speak and I get clear on what they want, then it's about just identifying, like I said, these blind spots, and then saying, okay, well then what is the work we need to do to remove it? So for example, let's just say that I have a client who wants to manifest more money, but she finds herself always procrastinating in terms of taking action.
Yeah.
So we identify what are the subconscious fears that are actually blocking you from taking action, because it's very easy to get caught up in identity. I'm just someone who's always procrastinated. Yeah. But behind that procrastination, there's a story there. There's a belief, there's a fear. And then we do the work to change that. And then create an actionable game plan that they can be consistent with in order to create the shifts required. Because like I said earlier, it's consistency is everything.
Yeah.
That is what I harp on my clients all the time, is you cannot do something once and expect your life to change. But if you can commit for 30 days,
it's like going to the gym.
It's, you know what? It's exactly that. Even when you put your money, I always give this example to this is one of the first things I ever ask my clients, and I'll say it to you and your audience right now, is that if I offered you a penny doubled for 31 days or $3 million straight up, what would you choose? What would you choose?
That's a very interesting question. I mean, normally what comes into my mind is that I want the million immediately.
The 3 million, yeah?
Yeah, but then...
Which is what most people would go for.
This is what most people would think.
But if
I know...
you go with the penny double for 31 days, you would end up with $10.7 million by the end of the 31 days. And this is known as a compound effect.
Yeah.
So the first few days, you're going to see what, 1 penny and 2, 4. But by day 18, now you're on $20,000, then $40,000, and suddenly it's in the millions. And I bring this example up because that's how our realities are working. Is you do something once, twice, your life will not change. But you do it for 30 days consistently, your life will open up in the most unimaginable manners.
Wow, I really love
How
that.
disciplined are you towards what you want versus what already exists right now?
And do you really think affirmation work? Because a lot of people are very skeptical about affirmations, but a lot of people love them.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your opinion about it.
So an affirmation really is whatever's coming out of our mouth. It's not just those statements we say in the mirror for a few minutes in the morning and a few minutes at night, but all day, every day, what are the words coming out of your mouth? Because your words are literally casting spells into your reality. You're thinking and speaking your life into existence all the time. And so rather than focus on these generic statements you find on ChatGPT or Google, pay attention. What are the words that are coming out of my mouth? How am I describing myself? How am I describing my reality? And is it in alignment with what I want? Because so often we say things on autopilot. We say things and think they're negligible because it's not a big deal. But you're always reprogramming your subconscious mind. What direction are you giving it based on your words?
So it's always up to us how this affirmation can impact us, or it's just like an automatic repetition that doesn't really sink in our subconscious.
But no, just to correct you there, it's always sinking in, but is what you want to experience sinking in, or are you sinking in patterns of the past?
Okay.
So, like, for example, as you know, I was stuck in a bit of traffic before coming here. I could have been like, oh, this is so annoying. Oh, the traffic in Dubai is so annoying. But you know what the thought that was going through my mind was, I'm so grateful that Vicky is so understanding.
Yeah.
Because what kind of reality do I want? I want to be in a reality whereby people are understanding.
Of course.
But if I want to be in a reality whereby I'm always getting traffic, I could have gone with the former option.
Yeah.
And, complaining is one of the biggest reasons why people don't manifest their desires, because complaining is also an affirmation. It's just a negative affirmation.
Yeah. And by the way, for you guys to know, she was 3 minutes late only. So I didn't even
I'm a punctuality fiend. I love
it.
I get sick because
I really wish everyone
No,
would be
but
like you.
like we discussed, I really respect people's time.
Yeah.
And so I would never intentionally be late. So thank you very much for understanding.
But see, I didn't even feel it. And that's because probably in her mind, she was just like...
She's understanding.
Yeah.
And I literally manifested that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, Khushbu, last question.
Yes.
Like, I want to hear like a very successful story from your clients.
A very successful story.
Something that you were like, wow, this really works.
I have, you know what? I've been coaching now for 13 years. So I have so many, but one of my favorites that come to mind, as you say, since we're talking about love, is I have this client of mine. She came to me in 2021 and she wanted to manifest love amongst other things. And her history was that she kept attracting really emotionally unavailable men who didn't want to commit, toxic men.
Yeah.
And as we started work together, we realized a big area of improvement for her was her level of self-worth and, loving herself. I know that sounds really cheesy, but it really boiled down to that. She was looking outside of her for the very thing she wanted in a relationship. This client of mine, we worked together for, I think it was about like 1.5 to 2 years, but she really showed up. She committed, obviously a few blips along the way, but she showed up. And yesterday she celebrated her 1-year anniversary with her husband, who, as she herself says, surpassed every one of her expectations and is truly her soulmate. And the things she tells me that he does, like making her like tea while she's in the middle of her calls, books holidays spontaneously, the way he shows up for her in a way that's so different to anything she's ever experienced.
Wow.
That, it just brings me so much joy, because she could have easily held herself back by saying, this is just how it is. Life is so hard. Everyone else is so lucky. But she committed to doing the work and she showed up for herself. And that, I share this story because whether it's a relationship, whether it's money or any other area of our life, you can be or do anything you want, but it's how willing are you to change? Because until you change, your life will not change. But the minute you go all in with yourself, your entire life will open up in the ways you cannot even imagine.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Oh my God, I love the story so much. Thank you for sharing. And where can people find you?
Firstly, thank you so much for having me on this
podcast.
I have had so much fun chatting
me
to you.
Too,
I feel like it's flown by the way.
Me too.
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is at khushbu.kway. I also have a podcast, the Fit and Fulfill podcast, which is available on any major podcast platforms, but I'm sure you'll probably link.
Yeah, I will link everything.
Everything in the show notes.
Good. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And guys, if you have any questions or for Khushbu or for me or for like you want to know more, please comment down below. Please don't forget to subscribe so our community can grow and also our guest list. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.